Do you understand laws? Because there's laws in the universe, and there's also laws when it comes to wealth. So let me just check your knowledge of what a law is. First off, I want you to go to the top of the highest building that you're around. Go on, I'll wait. Okay, you at the top? What I want you to do is go to the edge and I want you to jump. Okay, what you're going to experience is what's called the law of gravity. There's nothing that you can do that will change that law. You can't modify it, you can't change it. The only thing that's gonna happen is that law of gravity is gonna kick in. And you're gonna go down and you're gonna hit the ground, and hopefully the building wasn't that tall, because we might not be talking after you do that. So let's not do that. But the first thing I wanted you to understand is laws are certains. They're not speculative, they're not ideas, they're not concepts, they are certains in life. And I started with just that one because we all know the law of gravity and we've all experienced it. But you've probably never heard of the 6 laws of wealth. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to show you how there are 6 simple laws that apply to wealth that if you follow, I can almost ensure your financial success. How about that? Bet you haven't ever heard that somebody can actually ensure that you will be financially successful by following just 6 simple laws. I want to show you what these 6 laws are, but I also want to show you that how you need to apply them in your life. And if you do, you're going to live a much wealthier life, a much happier and fulfilled life. Because money, that's just the thing. It's just a tool. It's not everything. But I bet you just about everything that you do in your life, from your house to your family to your car, all revolves money. So why don't we just get the 6 laws of wealth right out of the way to guarantee your financial success. So let's dive in. The first law of wealth. And this goes all the way back to the earliest days of our existence. If you want to be successful, you must start with this law and do not go on to law number 2 until this one's mastered. And this one's easy. Pay yourself first. In order to begin the process of becoming wealthy, you must save no less than 1/10 of the money you earn, the gross amount you earn, to keep that very specific. So whatever you earn gross, you must save 10%. You've probably heard this 10% number used a lot. So let's talk about where this number, this 10%, is significant. It's in the Bible. Okay? It's in the Book of Mormon, tithing. 10%. I didn't just come up with this number. It's because this number's always been the number. 10% is the minimum. Okay? You can always go more, but you can never go less. So a lot of you are thinking, oh, well, I guess I don't want to watch the rest of this video because I can't save 10%, but I call your bluff. Sure you can. All of you can save 10% if you put your mind to it. There's plenty of people that are already doing this. If you say you can, it's because you don't want to. So you're probably right. You shouldn't go on to the next one because the next law can't be applied unless you mastered the first law of wealth. And that is save 1/10 of the money you earn. So once you've mastered that, let's move on to the second law of wealth. This one's where it starts to get fun. The second law of wealth says that your money must work for you. Now let me quantify that a little bit. Once you start saving 10%, that money's going to amass. And the worst thing you can possibly do is just leave it sit lazy. So we have to then understand the second law of wealth is to make that money go to work for you. Because if you're trying to become wealthy or you're trying to amass any sum of wealth, you must understand that there's not enough time in the day for you to do what you need to do. And wealthy individuals have learned a long time ago that if they're going to become wealthier, it can't be by trading hours for dollars because there's only so few of those that we can trade. So in order to get to that next level, they've learned that their money must go out and work for them. Because when their money goes and works for them, and that you can use this in a lot of different ways, investments, you can use it, to do other things, giving, all sorts of things. But when your money goes to work for you, that money produces offsprings. Okay? What are those offsprings? Profits, interest, dividends. And when your money kicks off offspring, think of it as another little baby workforce. Okay? Your money wants to work for you. Your money doesn't have limits like you do. It doesn't need to sleep. It doesn't need to eat. It doesn't need coffee. It doesn't need anything but a direction. So once you teach your money to work and you point it in the right direction, that offspring that comes out, okay, it's just the nature of the beast and how it works, that offspring wants to go to work as well. So you can do one of two things. If you're not real good at this, you will take that interest, dividends, or profits and you will go spend it on the things you want. But if you're really on a journey to build, what you'll do is you'll send that interest, dividends, and profit back out to work. So then it produces more offsprings and more. Can you see how that compounds? It's like Albert Einstein, he was a pretty smart mathematician. And he said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It's the most powerful thing in the universe. Those that understand it earn it. Those that don't, pay it. I just showed you the second law of wealth is how to earn it. So now, once you've done that, let's move on to the third law of wealth. This is probably my favorite because it's the one that's being violated the most right here and now, which we are in 2022. The third law of wealth, and let me just kind of kick off something that I think is fun, comes from the movie Talladega Nights. You remember Ricky Bobby? Remember his dad? Goes to school, and as he's getting kicked out of the school, he looks back at his son, Ricky, and he says, Ricky, if you're not first, you're last. So let's go into that. The third law of wealth is protect your wealth. Do you understand how to do that? Because it's quite simple. The law states to protect your wealth, all you should do is invest in things that you know, like, and understand. So are you doing that? Everything you invest your money in, do you know a lot about it? Do you like it? Do you have a passion for it? And do you understand it? The answer is probably not really. That money you're putting into the 401k, do you know everything about each one of those funds and the companies they're investing in? I bet you know nothing about them. All you probably know about those 401k dollars is whether you're in a conservative, moderate, or high risk tolerance. Maybe you know a little bit more, maybe you know a little less. That is violating the law because you don't know, like, and understand what you're investing your money in. The second thing, you might say, well, I don't do my own investments. I hired somebody. Great. So let's move on to that. The person that you give up control of your money to, that is then going to then go out and make this money work for you and protect this money. Let me ask you a question. Have you vetted them? Do they have knowledge that came from failure? Do they have knowledge based on time doing this one thing that they're a specialist in? And do they have knowledge that created wisdom? Because if none of those are a resounding yes, then don't give up control of your money to them, because they are probably the wrong steward of your money. And the other thing I always come back with protecting your wealth is there's nobody that's ever going to care more about your money and your wealth than you. Nobody. So why not become a good steward of your own money? And why not just apply these laws of wealth? So the third law of wealth is protect your wealth. Let's move on to the fourth. This one I had to learn the hard way, and I bet you many of you have. If you seek unrealistic returns, your money will be yours no more. So what does that mean? Well, throughout life, investment opportunities will come your way. Some of them will be really good or seem really good. They'll have high returns. And sometimes they even seem too good to be true. Well, that's because they are. Because they're unrealistic. Too many people today come to me and say, oh my God, I need to know where to put this money. I got to get rich quick. I got to make up for lost time. I got to make a lot of money. What they're doing is they're seeking unrealistic returns, and chances are their money will flee them because of seek. When you seek unrealistic returns, you know what the second word for that is? Greed. You are participating in greed, and greed is not good. Okay? Contrary to what the original movie with Michael Douglas said in Wall Street, he said greed is good. No, it's not. Greed always leads to a dead end, and that dead end for you is you'll be broke. So follow the fourth law of wealth, which is do not seek unrealistic returns. Be realistic with your returns. The best way to true wealth is time. It just takes time. Wealth and building wealth is a marathon. It's just like life. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And if you try to sprint your way through life, what a shame. You're not going to stop and smell the roses. You're not going to enjoy the things you need to enjoy. Building wealth is the same thing. It's a marathon, so enjoy the journey. The fifth law of wealth is by far my favorite, and it is one that I learned far too late in life. The fifth law of wealth is you must solve other people's problems. You must give generously without any conditions, because if you give, your life will be far wealthier than money can provide. But Is that what you focus every day on? Do you go through life solving other people's problems, or do you only focus on your problems and try to solve your problems every day? You are violating the law. The law is very clear about this. Every single day, your job is to solve somebody else's problem. And if you do that, the universe and the law will guarantee and make sure that you get everything you want out of life. So how simple is that? Even if we just eliminated all the other laws, if you just participated in this fifth law of wealth, you would be far wealthier than you are today in time. And let's move on to the sixth law of wealth, the final law. Everything you do on your journey through this life should be to create a legacy. That legacy is not the things that you leave when you go. Well, not exactly. It's not the material things you leave. Let me quantify that. The legacy is what you're remembered for. Were you a good person? Did you solve people's problems? Did you pass on good lessons that made the next generation better than what you were? Did you share the lessons you learned from the failures you had to go through so that the next generation and the next generation may not have to fail the way you did because you already paved the way? All of these make up your legacy, which is your greatest gift you can give. So, the sixth law of wealth is always remember, everything you do in life is making your legacy real. So what do you want to be remembered for? Well, that's what you need to think about. These are the 6 laws of wealth. But let's do a quick recap because I went in depth. The first law of wealth is you must save 10% of the money you earn. The second law of wealth is that money that you saved must then go to work for you. Your money must always work for you. The third law, as Ricky Bobby said, is if you're not first, you're last. Protect your wealth. Invest in things you know, like, and understand, or invest with people that have knowledge through wisdom, time, and failure. So the fourth law of wealth is simple. It says, do not seek unrealistic returns or your money will flee you. The fifth law of wealth is, I think, the most important. Everything you do should be to solve somebody else's problem. Give generously without any expectation of something in return. And the sixth and final law is create a legacy. Create the life that will be remembered in a positive way when you're gone. And remember, you won't be remembered for the money in your bank, the car in the driveway, or the house that you live in. You'll be remembered for what you did to solve other people's problems and what you did to make other people's lives better. These are the 6 laws of wealth. If you liked this video, check this one out. How do I increase my income? Because, hey, wouldn't that play right into the 6 laws of wealth? My name is Chris Naugle, and I'm here to teach you how to be your own bank.